So we're going to walk through the steps to integrate, to turn on the integration in CataList for sending your orders to WordStock. So to start, I'm actually going to get out of my PowerPoint here. And we're going to actually go directly into CataList, and I'm going to show you how to how to do that setup. So from the CataList site, the first thing you need to do is log in. So if you don't have an account already, and I've got a test account just set up here that we can play in today. If you don't have your account set up already, get in touch with us. We'd be happy to get you set up with a retailer account. Retailer accounts are free. I think most of our participants today already have their accounts, and so you can just come into the system and log in. So if you've done any ordering before, or if reps have been taking orders on behalf of your store up to this point, you can, we've always had order exports, but mainly to some of the ILS systems. We've had order exports out to an Excel file. In order to turn on the, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. In order to turn on the export for WordStock, you actually need to go into your settings and tell CataList that you want to export to WordStock. So in the settings menu, if you need to have an account manager access for this. Every retailer account does have an account manager in their set up in their system. If you don't have, when you come to your settings page, if all you see is your personal settings and you don't see any of the administration tab items, let us know. We'll let you know who is the admin on your account at your store, or we can, if that person isn't there anymore, we can always set up the access for you to get this running. So in the admin tab, we have your store list. So if you do have more than one location, the WordStock integration works for both single store and multi-store setups. If you do have additional stores, you can add more stores. Let's call this one Gordon. When you have multiple stores, we do need to know what your store IDs are in WordStock, from WordStock, so that we can feed the orders for the correct locations into the correct store numbers in WordStock. So obviously, by default, your new stores are going to be active. If you have limitations where you want to limit the number of people who can buy for that store, you can actually set up specific buyers as well. I'm just going to leave it for everyone. So on this one, I know I've made this my store ID too. I need to just go back and edit my original store and put my store number in there. If you don't know what your store ID numbers are, WordStock can help you out with which store IDs go to which store names. So in the point of sale system, all I need to do here is select WordStock. So I'm just telling the system that I'm going to use the WordStock information. So if I have not set up my store IDs and I have multiple stores, it will prompt me to add my store IDs. The second thing that it's prompting me for is to set up my CataList FTP. There is also a link to all of the integration documentation. I'm just going to open that in a new tab. So this is in our help menu. You can get there from that link, or you can get there as well from, excuse me, from the help tab. And this has the step-by-step list of all the things that we're going to walk through today. So we can send you this access as well, send you a direct link to this. So if I want to set up my CataList folder, I'm just going to click the Start Setup menu. So there will be a new FTP login for Gordon Books. So it's going to take my store name without any spaces. And it's going to ask me for a password. So I can set whatever password I want. I can double check that if I want to see what it is. So it's going to prompt you to add the FTP details to your WordStock account. And we will have some information. We're going to go through that WordStock side of it in a few minutes. we'll finish up with what's available in CataList and how to post your orders, and then we'll go through all of the steps for the WordStock side. So I would recommend that you just write this down so you have this on hand after you've set up your FTP so that you can enter those FTP credentials on the WordStock side. So, okay. So that's all you need to do to set up on the CataList side the WordStock, to enable the WordStock exports. So from here, obviously I've just gone back to the home page. You can just, you can browse your publishers, you can place your order. So if I wanted to order ECW, new Gord Downey book. If you haven't worked with the ordering in CataList yet, there's also information in our resources for retailers, our CataList help menu. There's a quick start guide for retailers, which has everything for like setting up, finding catalogs and managing orders. And also there's a whole order functions section in our help manual. But I'll do a quick run through right now. If I wanted to start a new order, I can call this order anything I want. If you're ordering from a rep, if you want to put in your purchase order number, promotion code, comments on the order, you can add those optionally as well. I'm going to start an order. So I can order my quantities for my stores. Well, maybe I don't want that in the kids store. Maybe I want to make that bigger. When you've enabled the WordStock fields, you also have the WordStock details box will automatically display on all of the titles. So this gives you the opportunity to enter all of the content that is WordStock specific. So if you want to put in your product code, your section number, you have optionally, you can put in your section 2 number. Publisher number, you can enter this here. If you enter a publisher number here, you're going to get prompted when you export to put a publisher number on the exported order. Anything that you put in this level will overwrite what comes out on the publisher level. So if you've entered, say, 315 on your order level, if you've entered 313 on this particular title, the 313 will be applied to this item. The lookup and comment fields are also optional fields if you wanted to add some information for these fields for your use in WordStock. So as I work through, I'll get blue check marks to confirm that your information's been saved. So when I'm done with my order, I can go through, I can add as many books to this order as I want. If I want to export this order, I've just gone into the My Orders page, and I'll see the list of all my open orders. So I can see all the orders I've created. I can see all the orders that if I've got multiple people that are making purchases in my account or multiple stores that are ordering, I can see all orders for my store. And then I can choose the export option. So I can just export, I can still export just a copy of this to an Excel file if I want just a quick access to it, or if I'm not finished with it. And then a CSV file is just a text version of that file. And then I have the option, also the option to export to WordStock. So if I'm exporting to WordStock, it will ask me for a PO number. If I didn't enter one on the order when I started it, I can enter the PO number now. publisher number, so here if I put 315, your discount percent, you can allow your rep to view the order if you would like, and you can close the order after export. I'm not going to let my rep see, so we'll close it after export. And so when I click the export button, it's going to tell me that this order, here's my PO number, was successfully exported to the FTP. So that means CataList has created the order, we've sent it up, we've posted it to an FTP, but the WordStock side, on the WordStock side, we still have to run the setup there before we can actually import this order down. I'm just going to invite Jeff if he wants to do a little bit of introduction to the WordStock side before I go through the process piece.
So, like in the US, with the US version that's out there, the CataList, we're very excited to have this interface going because it's going to make life so much easier for everyone across the board. So we're just really excited to get this rolled out and get it into stores so people can use it. Great.
So the first thing that people need to do on the WordStock side is request the module to be installed. So I understand that's a pretty quick setup process.
It is. Yeah, so, once you've contacted, us to get it installed, it's less than 5 minutes from you talking to us to having it installed and set up, presuming you've got the FTP information you've set up on the CataList side.
Perfect. Okay, great. So I'm going to walk through the process side, and so once WordStock has installed the module, in the vendor import menu, there will be a new item list for CataList at the bottom there. And so the first thing you need to do is set up that FTP setup so that WordStock can retrieve those files. And so that is the second menu item. In order to do this, you will need to have your password for WordStock in order to proceed and make these changes. So once you've got that, you've gone through to your password, those setup options that you had, the FTP options that you set up on the CataList side, so your folder name and your password, you need to enter those here. If for whatever reason you can't remember what you set up, contact us on the CataList side. We'll have all of the support addresses at the end of this, the end of the slides, where you can reach us if you've got problems. We'll help you get set up. So you've got your login ID, your password, and off you go. FTP at bnccatalyst.ca is our host name. So once you've done that, you can actually then pull for orders. So you're going to come into the vendor import, CataList menu, and choose retrieve CataList data. So connect to the CataList server and collect the available files, enter Y, yes, and it will pull in any files that were there that were imported. So the first set of numbers after the CATL, the first set of numbers is your PO number. So you'll be able to see your PO numbers and bring them in, and that will bring in all of the information. So vendor number, there are two options on the WordStock side. There is, if you have it set up, if you have your system set up to just use ISBN prefix for your vendor number, you can do that, and the system will pull the vendor number from the ISBN prefix. Or you can set your own vendor numbers for those publisher number. But everything else should come across. Your comments and lookup fields will come across automatically, and all of your catalog record, which should save a lot of people a lot of time in hand entering your orders.
Okay, I'm going to jump in. I've got a couple questions on my side that I can read out. So I have If a rep enters an order for a retailer who uses WordStock for their point of sale, can the retailer still export that order using this functionality?
Yes, so there is some functionality for the retailers, for the reps to take orders on behalf of retailers. So if your rep has taken an order for you and it's sitting there, when you look at the all orders option, you can see orders I've entered and see all orders for your store. Go into the all orders for my store. You'll be able to see all of the orders that were entered for you by your reps. You can review those orders and then you can send them using this functionality.
If a retailer has already entered an order in CataList, but the CataList import module isn't installed on WordStock yet, can those orders still be exported after installation?
Yeah, if you've got orders that you already have in, even before we built this WordStock import, you can still export them over. It's you just can't. They'll post to your. You can post to the FTP on the CataList side, and then pick up the orders after the fact on the WordStock side.
I just want to jump in a little bit on that.
Sure.
For people who are creating new orders, once the interface is installed, you'll be going through the catalogs and putting in your product, section, and vendor numbers. For the purchase orders that are there before installation, obviously you wouldn't have done that. So you're going to want to go back through those to make sure that the correct product, section, and vendor numbers come through. If you don't do it, we'll happily import them, but you'll get generic numbers in, which will only lead to needing to then touch the records once they're imported to get them to be what you want them to be.
Right. Before we launched the WordStock details box, we did previously have in place a store category field, a publisher number and format code or something box that was basically for people who were working with WordStock previously and other systems and wanted to have some code boxes that they could add their custom details in and get those out in their export to Excel or keying in. If you have content in those boxes, we can also transfer that content from the old boxes into the new WordStock box. So the publisher number, the format code, and store category 1 are required fields. So if you have not entered some of those for the titles, when you export them, you're going to get a default of like 99 in the format code, 999 in the store category category 1 field. So that is sort of our default because we have to provide some number in there. So those are our defaults.